Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Zach Lawley. I'm a project manager here at 5 Words Media. I'm here with an Allen and Heath SQ5. We've dialed in our mix. Maybe you finished rehearsal or you finished a service and you want to save everything that you've done. Well, if you go here under scenes, you'll see this window pop up. Right now I'm on a scene called SQ training. Let's go down one and let's store this. Let's store this as today's date, which is 8/3/23. Cool. So you've stored it. Say I want to go back to my last scene. I can recall it, selecting it and pressing go. And as you can see, everything jumps back. Say I want to go back to where I was. I can recall it by just selecting it and pressing go. One thing I really recommend for churches is no matter how many volunteers you have, everyone to work off of one scene. Typically what I do is I create a Sunday start scene. So whenever your audio volunteer comes in that Sunday morning, they grab that Sunday start scene. They can shift some stuff around to how they want it, maybe relabel their vocalists to the names of the vocalists that are singing on that Sunday. One guitar player instead of two, maybe you could take one of those away. You can kind of shift it, but everyone's working off of that one scene to keep your Sunday services sounding consistent. Typically what I do is after we have a good Sunday, I'll save over that start scene. Let's call this one our Sunday start. Let's delete this. Hold that down. We'll call it Sunday start. Now I'm the volunteer that's come in. Let's go down to the next scene and store it, and let's save it as today's date, which is 8/3/23. Now I can build my mix and save to that 8/3/23 without affecting that Sunday start. Now something to be aware of is you can set some filters to allow certain things to be recalled on your scenes. You can allow your input patching and your output patching, as well as some of your channel safes. So you can safe them so they won't be recalled. A lot of people do that with emergency microphones or host or pastor microphones that they have throughout their campus. Awesome, now that we've saved our scene, there's another thing that we should do, and we should save it to our USB stick. So if you go under Utility and under Data, you get these three options at the top: Shows, Scenes, Libraries, and Sync. Your show is the entirety of the console. It's the entire snapshot of the whole console. All of your scenes, all of your libraries, everything. So if I were to store this, I can store this as my SQ training. And it's now storing it to my USB drive. Let's say I wanted to just store a scene. Let's say I wanted to take my Sunday start scene and I want to store it to my USB stick. I can just grab it and move it right over to my USB stick. I have a few other shows on this USB stick, one called The Chase. Let's grab that one and let's move that one to our SQ. Now if we go back to our scenes, we can go grab the Chase scene and we can recall it. And as you can see, it all gets recalled to that Chase scene. Then if we go back to our SQ training, we can recall that one and it'll all go back to our SQ training. For the whole console snapshot, also known as your shows, I recommend doing this once a month and doing it in 3 separate places. I recommend putting it on a USB stick that's left in your console. I recommend putting it on another USB stick that's away from your console. Maybe it's in an office or in someone's backpack. And then I recommend taking that show and also putting it somewhere in a cloud drive, like Dropbox. We'll store this whole show file and we'll save it as SQ trainings. It takes a little while to save, but once it's there, you're ready to go. The last thing is your library. Your library is specific EQs or compressions or maybe effects that you've built that you want to store for certain inputs. You can store those and copy them to a USB stick. And then the last option here is your sync. Your sync is where you can actually build your show file off of an iPad and then sync it to the console over the network. Your console does need to be on the same network as your iPad, but if that's available, you're able to build something on an iPad and drop it right over.